Good day and welcome to SCO BRICS Insight, where we look at what's really going on in the world of the BRICS. Now, as you all know, Russia's a major producer of oil and gas, and so is the USA. So today I want to look at how the election of Donald John Trump as US president will affect the energy market of both Russia and of the US. Now, Trump has indicated that he plans to support traditional fossil fuels and even may withdraw from the Paris Climate Agreement, in contrast to the Green Biden administration. So what impact will Trump's policies have on oil prices and US LNG exports? Plus, will he lift any sanctions against Russian fossil fuels? Now, Donald Trump's pledged to bolster the US fuel production by streamlining the process for drilling on federal land and promoting the construction of new natural gas pipelines. He's also indicated his intention to reauthorize oil drilling in Alaska's national parks. Now, in his inaugural executive orders as president, Joe Biden prohibited all of the aforementioned activities. Now, additionally, Trump has pledged to withdraw the United States from the Paris Climate Agreement, which aims to reduce global greenhouse gas emissions. Now, the United States rejoined the agreement under the Biden administration, which has been championing over its 4 years a green agenda. Now, Trump's also indicated his willingness to support an increase in nuclear energy production. Plus, he's also said he intends to reverse Biden's mandate for electric vehicles, another measure aimed at reducing vehicle emissions. Now, Trump's also stated that the United States must increase its energy production to remain competitive in the development of energy-intensive artificial intelligence systems. Now, before I continue, I'd like to make an appeal. If you like and enjoy my videos, you can help me fund the channel and my website, SCOBRICSinsight.com, to further develop it. And you can do this by making a small donation, which can be done by clicking on the thanks button at the bottom of the video screen. Everybody who donates does get a personal thank you from me, and I'm thanking you all now. Now, although it would be inaccurate to assume that the US president has significant impact on the volume of production in the country, yet Trump is perceived as a supporter of the traditional energy sources, and that is pretty accurate. However, the actual primary driver of oil and gas production in the US is purely economics. If it's profitable, the US companies will drill. Now, according to Igor Yushkov, in fact, when oil production increases in the US, it was exclusively under the Democrats, despite their so-called opposition to traditional energy resources. For example, despite Barack Obama being dubbed the greenest president of the United States ever, there was a substantial surge in oil and gas production. Now, that wasn't anything to do with him, but rather due to the advent of the shale revolution coinciding with his time as president. Now, following the recovery in demand after the coronavirus scam pandemic, production volumes also increased significantly under the Biden administration. Again, nothing to do with anything they wanted. And the US reached a historical record in production volumes of about 13.5 million barrels per day, according to statistics. So therefore, it doesn't anticipate a significant increase in oil production under Trump, as it's pretty much got to where it's peak. And it's unlikely there'll be any significant shifts in oil policy, given that the production in the US is at its highest level that it can really go. So first and foremost, Trump administration will prioritise the reducing the budget deficit, which currently stands at about 7%. Now, the record oil and production volumes in the US have had a negative impact on oil prices around the world. I mean, OPEC Plus has so far decided not to increase its own production until the end of 2024. Now, it's possible that Trump will tend to try and exert pressure on OPEC Plus during his presidential term. I mean, and it could push the price of Brent oil down to around the $60 per barrel or slightly below that in the second half of next year. And a further reduction in oil production and an increase in demand for oil in China and India may prevent a drop in prices. But it's worth bearing in mind that from an economic perspective, the US oil companies need $70 a barrel to break even, whereas Russia can still do quite well financially at $60 a barrel. But that's not the same for the other members of the OPEC Plus. Now, with regards to the export of American LNG, there's a general consensus between the Biden and Trump administrations, and it'll be unrealistic to anticipate that Trump will begin issuing any new licenses for plants, particularly around the Texas coast. I mean, even if he initially reverses some of the previous decisions to ban, he'll be supplemented to have to put in similar restrictions. The uncontrolled issuance of endless number of permits for the construction of new LNG plants will ultimately result in the price of the United States gas being determined by the export netback formula. And that's when companies have the freedom to choose whether to sell their gas either in the domestic market or in foreign markets. Now, the current situation with gas in the US domestic market is characterized by intense competition and low prices. I mean, the current market price for gas in the United States is around $100 per 1,000 cubic meters. Now, bear that in mind. That's 4 to 5 times less than the Europeans are paying for US LNG. And that's one of the reasons why the economy in the US is highly competitive, because the low cost of gas, which allows for low cost energy and fertilizer production. And that's why the US is attracting companies from Asia and in recent years from Europe. I mean, the return to production with the US aligns with his policy of making America great again. The issue also pertains to the prohibition on the construction of new LNG plants to schedule delivery dates after 2030. The current projects are in progress, and the new volumes from the US are scheduled to start deliveries in 2027-2028. So what implications does this have for Russia? Well, analysts don't anticipate any shift in the current situation for Russia, and it's unlikely that the United States will lift sanctions that were imposed under the Biden administration. I mean, any move like that would necessitate significant political changes, and I don't really see that happening. Trump will continue to represent the United States' best interest, and it seems likely he'll continue to clear the market for LNG for the United States, ensuring that American plants are fully utilized. Now, the Biden administration imposed sanctions on Russian LNG plants, and it's not guaranteed that Trump will not impose even more sanctions on the current plans of that. It's also possible that Yamal LNG and the Sakhalin plant may be subject to new sanctions. And it's unwise to think that Trump is not going to do anything slightly different from what Biden did. I mean, it does seem, though, that Trump will try and find ways to slow down the number of sanctions against Russia, because I think he actually understands that they're not working. I mean, if Trump starts to cease providing financial and military aid to the Ukraine, the conflict may be over, and that could provide a way for both the Europeans and the Americans to suspend the number of sanctions that they've got against Russia. So a new president of the US and a complete U-turn on green policies. I wonder if the EU will start to do the same. We shall see. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and if you want to help me out, press the thanks button at the bottom of the screen and make a small donation. Don't forget to comment. Love to read them, love to see them, and I love to respond to them. See you all again soon. Thank you.